A very happy afternoon and greetings to one and all. I, Shrenaha, your host for today's webinar, extend a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Plasmagen Biosciences. Plasmagen Biosciences is a Bangalore-based responsible biopharmaceutical organization enriched with over a decade of experience in providing world-class blood plasma-derived medicinal products. Our endeavor is to provide a wide range of safe plasma and specialty care products to enrich the quality of life of patients. Plasmagen Biosciences is organizing this webinar amongst the staff members of Vision Spring Noida as part of its corporate social responsibility initiative, Samvedna Sanchetna Samvad. The agenda of this webinar is an expert talk on alcohol-related liver disease. As a responsible citizen and society, vital information about liver disease is imperative not only for ourselves but also for our loved ones. I express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Ravindra B.S. for accepting our invitation and presiding over this webinar. We welcome and thank Ms. Jaya Singh, Program Lead, Key to Learn from Vision Spring, for providing us this opportunity to host this event. On behalf of Plasmagen Biosciences, once again, I welcome everyone present today and extend my best wishes to each one of you. Now, I would like to introduce our respected expert, Dr. Ravindra B.S. He is a renowned gastroenterologist in Bangalore and currently practices as the director of the Department of Gastroenterology and Hepatology at Fortis Hospital, Bangalore. Dr. Ravindra has an illustrious academic career with 5 gold medals. He pursued his degree of MBBS from KIMS Hubli and MD in medicine from GMC Nagpur. His keen interest in gastroenterology has encouraged him to pursue his DNB in general medicine and DM in gastroenterology from LTM Medical College, Mumbai, after which he earned a fellowship from Denmark and specialized training from South Korea. Dr. Ravindra has a vast experience in gastroenterology, liver disease, pancreatic disease, inflammatory bowel diseases like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease. A pioneer in endoscopic ultrasound, he has more than 10,000 procedures under his belt. He is also the first to use GI bleed stents in Karnataka. He was honored with an award from the former Prime Minister of India, Sri Manmohan Singh, and Wen Jiabao, former Chinese premier, during the Indo-China Joint Medical Mission in 2008. He is a member of the American Society of Gastroenterology and fellow of Association of Interventional GI Endoscopy. He has several publications in various journals of repute and more than 100 lectures in various CME conferences to his name. Now, I request Dr. Ravindra to enlighten us and take us through his presentation.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody from Bangalore. I think all of you are in Delhi. I think still because of the COVID, we are still in all these sort of webinars. I think Plasmagen has taken a good initiative to host this program on very important topic because during the lockdown, what we have seen is lot of our patients in the first lockdown, they were extremely good. During the second lockdown, unfortunately, alcohol opened and lot of people started consuming alcohol. And then in the first lockdown, most of the people had become sober. And then the second lockdown, a floodgate of the diseases have started. We have started seeing a lot of alcoholic liver disease, alcoholic pancreatitis. That means there will be problem with these patients. They come with acute abdominal pain. When we check, their pancreas is damaged because of alcohol. And other problem is we have started seeing a lot of patients with jaundice because of alcohol. Because of non-opening of the bars and sudden opening of bars, we started seeing so many patients, at least in Karnataka, with liver disease, jaundice, abdominal pain, pancreas problems, and all these things. I think the whole topic today is about the liver disease, what are the symptoms of liver disease, and how exactly alcohol causes liver disease, and then how to prevent this disease coming to us. And I think we all know this is the organ what we see. This is on the right side of our body, on the right side of your abdomen. This is the liver. This is the largest organ in the body, and it weighs almost like a 3 pounds. It's almost the size of a football. That's the size of the liver. And then, as I told you earlier, it is on the right side of our upper abdomen. Anybody who has got discomfort and then pain, then on the right side, means above your navel on the right side, then probably the problem is in liver, or sometimes, as I'm showing you in this cursor, that may be a problem in the gallbladder. I think this is the two things. And in northern India, one of the very common problem, if you get pain on the right side, is gallbladder disease, basically gallbladder stones and any infection in the gallbladder. I think this is a brief introduction on what exactly is liver, and then where exactly is it situated, and what is the size of the liver. And second thing, what we should know is what is the function of the liver. See, basically, liver does a function. What happens is all our blood, whatever we eat, that will get digested, and then, as we all know, it has got three components. One is carbohydrates, second one is proteins, and third one is fat. All of them, they get digested. Then carbohydrate becomes glucose, and then the protein becomes amino acids, and then the fat becomes the oil that is transported into the liver, and then liver basically it stores all of these things, and then whenever needed from the liver, it will start giving you glucose, and then even proteins are synthesized by the liver, and then fat also is accumulated in the liver. This is how the function of the liver is. Then basically it also synthesizes, means it's a factory for production of your protein, and then for production of your clotting factors. Means whenever there is a bleeding, if you don't have clotting factors, then you continue to bleed. That's why these clotting factors are produced by the liver, so that whenever you have a cut or anything, these clotting factors, they act, and then your bleeding stops. And then third thing is, when whatever the food we take, it will have a lot of toxins, because we all know the food what we eat will have a lot of toxins, and all these toxins are removed by two organs. One is the liver, second is the kidney. That's why this is an important organ for your detoxification. And third is, as I already told you, it's a storehouse for your sugar. Means whenever you are tired, whenever you do exercise, whenever you work, or hard exercises, then what you need is glucose. Then this glucose comes from the liver. That is a storage for our energy. And finally, as I already told you, it is a detoxifying agent. And other important thing is, as we all know, the blood what is there in our body gets recirculated once in 3 months, and then all this we all know, white cells, platelet, and then RBC, they all get recycled, just like we do recycling of a plastic or something like that. This recycling happens in the liver, and then iron and all these things which are in the liver are utilized back into the system. Basically, to summarize, one is it synthesizes protein, it stores glucose, and then it removes the toxins, and it cleans the blood. I think these are the 4 important duties what the liver does. And then coming to the people, they regularly ask me, sir, what is the safe limit of alcohol? I think there is no safe limit of alcohol for because people say it gives us a lot of the kick for them, but unfortunately you have to remember everybody starts with a very small amount, and usually it becomes a big amount later on. That's why alcohol, there is no safe limit. The limit is no, there is 0 is the limit. I think that's what we should, because as a gastroenterologist, that's what I tell to my patients, because every day we see somebody's brother or a father or a son being dead. That's why alcohol, for me, I always tell my patients, there is no safe limit, and alcohol should not be consumed. That is the thing. And what is the duration during which the liver can get damaged? This is if somebody takes around 100 ml of alcohol, that means it can cause, it's not 20 years. Otherwise, everybody of 25 years would not have been dead. This is a rough estimation that this will start causing a complete liver damage. But some people may not require a complete liver damage. Little damage also can result in liver failure. And many liver transplants are being done because of that. Because anybody for 20 years means say everybody should be having liver problem when they reach 40. But nowadays we see liver disease at what age? I've seen liver disease at 20 years, 25 years, 28 years. In fact, now because of this pub culture, what we are seeing is we are seeing young high school boys with alcoholic liver disease. That's because they every Saturday, Sunday they go to the pub and then they drink a lot. And then that's why the problem is happening. And then the other problem is who are at more damage, the boys or the girls. I think the problem is if in females they consume, even though it is very less in India, but nowadays it has started. But in Western countries, it's a common thing because of the cold nature, they continue to take the alcohol. But even at 20 grams, that's a 25 ml of alcohol can cause significant amount of damage because in females, one of the enzyme that is known as alcohol dehydrogenase is produced less. That's why even at a small amount, they can get the liver damage. And that's why there is no safe limit. Please don't. Some people may be very happy seeing that I can drink up to 20 years, my liver will not get damaged. But that's not true. Any amount at any point can cause the damage. Only thing is you should have that what we call it as a, if somebody maybe even for a few ml he can cause, maybe can get into problem. And definitely anybody using any amount of alcohol, they will get not just the liver. If somebody is, some people ask me, sir, my friends are drinking for many years, they never had a problem. But please remember, they may have some other problem either in their brain or in the pancreas or in their nerves, which they will never tell you. Because people are aware only of jaundice and pancreas problem, but alcohol can cause a whole lot of problems, starting from your memory loss, nerve problem, weakness, and so many reasons it can cause the problems. And then how exactly the liver damage happens? As you are seeing, this is the normal liver. I think everybody, whoever are seeing there in Noida, many of whomever they have gone in ultrasound, they might have seen this report in their ultrasound, fatty liver. Means whenever we have more fat, then the fat goes into the liver and liver will become fat. That is known as fatty liver. And alcohol also causes fatty liver. This is number 2. What happens after some time, once the fat starts accumulating, liver starts shrinking. That is known as liver fibrosis. Now we have a new instrument that is known as FibroScan, wherein we can exactly check how much amount of liver damage has already started. And then finally, patients end up with this problem, as you are seeing, from a beautiful liver to a worst liver. What you are seeing, all it has become very dark, and these small round things are all nodules. Later on, one of these nodules can turn into cancer. This is how these patients they die. Means from a normal beautiful liver to a liver which has become really bad, and then with lot of these nodules, and then they may turn into cancers as well. And then what are the risk factors for the liver disease? Means, as I told you, quantity. For some people, a small amount of alcohol is sufficient. For some people, the alcohol quantity may be more. We never know who is the one with small quantity and what is the person with large quantity. And pattern of drinking. Means pattern of drinking means somebody who takes alcohol in the morning is definitely going to die. That is for sure. That means he's already addicted. That is the pattern. Means people who consume alcohol in the morning are the worst addicted people, because usually normal people will not drink in the morning. This is one thing which we should always take into your consideration. And then the third thing is gender, especially as I told, female gender, because they have less alcohol metabolism. And then some people may have a virus in their body, because many of us, we may do health checkup, but unfortunately this virus is not checked in all the health checkups. Some people may harbor this virus, hepatitis B and C. Then these viruses can cause the liver damage. And genetic factors. Many people tell me, sir, my friend drinks so much, but I don't drink. But I already have a liver problem. That is because of your genes. And finally, the diet. Because when we take alcohol, what we do? We take only alcohol and then we restrict our diet, because people will be drinking 3 pegs, 4 pegs, 5 pegs, and the moment the food comes, they are already down. That's why they will never consume food. And then this is the reason your carbohydrates, proteins, and fat levels will be very poor. Then what are the symptoms of liver disease? I think this is one thing we should always look. Most important thing is suddenly you will start losing your appetite. That is the first sign. And then people may start having vomiting feeling. That's the second sign. And the third sign is people start vomiting. That's the third sign. Means somebody loses appetite, somebody starts vomiting, somebody has got vomiting sensation. These are the people you should think that I may have a liver disease. And final stage, you may develop pain on the right side of your abdomen. That is where the liver is. And some people they may come with swelling of your legs, or suddenly your abdomen becomes very bloated. That is not because of the gas, that is because of the water. Because when the liver fails, your stomach will start accumulating water. As I told you previously, alcohol is one organ where it cleans your toxins. Once the toxins are not clear, then what happens? The blood will not get purified, and that water starts accumulating in your abdomen. And that's why people start developing bloating and leg swelling. And then what are the symptoms as general public which we should look is the jaundice. Means your eyes will become yellow. That is the sign that you are developing jaundice. And sometimes small red spots may develop on your skin, and then your hands and feet, they become very red. And then people may start developing itching. These are some of the symptoms you can notice on your skin. And then other things are, as I told you, lightheadedness, no clarity in thoughts, memory loss, thinking power goes down, your mood swings. And then one more important point is you start having numbness, pins and needles, we call it as heart pain, it will start turning burning sensation. That is also a sign that your nerves are being eaten because of alcohol. I think these are the symptoms what we should be aware. To summarize the liver damage, see, the eyes may show jaundice, the liver may show swelling, and slowly it will develop like a black liver, that is cirrhosis. And because of the alcohol, your immunity goes down. You may develop diarrhea. Because of alcohol, people develop arthritis, especially knee arthritis and hip arthritis. And then as you see, most of the alcohol, initially they will be like our Salman Khan, and after that they will become like their muscles will go away. Their muscles will become very, very weak. That's because of the muscle loss. And in males, the testis starts becoming atrophied. That's why they have problems in their reproductive capacity as well. And then the third problem is they start developing water in the abdomen. And then even the stomach gets into problem. If somebody drinks too much, everybody knows, whoever have taken too much of alcohol, they know that they develop acidity problem, that is gastritis. And the other problem is just behind your stomach, there is an important organ known as pancreas. This gets infected, this gets damaged. This is an unbearable pain you will get in the upper abdomen, and it goes to the back. That is pancreas problem. And finally, this is one organ where the blood gets purified. That starts swelling. That is known as spleen enlargement. When it becomes too big, you get pain on your left side also. And then some people start developing blood vomiting. That is because blood circulation, instead of going to the spleen, it goes to your food pipe or stomach, and then it starts bleeding. These are the symptoms of liver damage. And then the next thing is alcoholic hepatitis. Means alcoholic hepatitis means your liver gets swollen, and then people, they develop pain, jaundice, fever, body ache, and then their appetite goes out. Isko hum log, we call it as alcoholic hepatitis, alcohol related jaundice. And then once we neglect this, some people, what happens, they will neglect at this point of time, they continue to take alcohol. जो आपका liver जो है ऐसा red जो है, that will start turning into white structure like this, and then you start developing small nodules. Nodules means छोटे छोटे गांठ बनते हैं. Then you will develop what is known as liver cirrhosis. This is how liver cirrhosis is. Means liver which is like a football will become like a tennis ball. Means इतना बड़ा liver जो है, it will start shrinking like that, and it starts losing its function. Then that is known as a liver cirrhosis. And then this is how the patient looks. आप जो देख रहे हैं, this is the normal leg. This is a leg which has become already swollen. So that is how the swollen leg looks like. This is the one. And then because of alcohol, आपका proteins level will come down. So आपका जो muscle जो है, it will start becoming very thin. Then you will start losing your weight, and then people start developing itching. And then this is the yellow eyes. This is the last sign. Please don't wait for jaundice to develop. These are all last signs. The moment you develop, then probably your liver is already gone. Then most of the time, even medicines, they don't work. Then these people, they need a liver transplant. That's the problem. See, this is how the symptoms of liver cirrhosis is. See this is yellow, blue thing is the water, what you have seen. And this is the liver which has become very small. And this is the blue thing is the water. That's why the abdomen becomes swollen like this. And then skins, they will start developing that red patches, red rings like this. Then this right side and the left side, they start becoming red. These are all the symptoms that your liver is already damaged. And then how do we diagnose? I think the most important thing is we do a simple test that is known as liver function test, that will tell is there your protein levels have become low, and it will show that whether you have any jaundice. And then second thing we do is endoscopy. Endoscopy may basically we go through your mouth into the food pipe and stomach. In case you have a liver damage, you will develop some blood vessels, they will become very big. Just like on your hand, you will see these nerves, veins, they will become very big in your food pipe, and then they they become big, and one day it will burst, and then people starts developing blood vomiting. To know that, we do an endoscopy whether somebody is at a risk for developing blood vomiting. Nowadays, we don't do a liver biopsy in most of the people. We do liver biopsy only when there is doubt. When somebody says my alcohol intake is not that much, and then associated he may have some fatty liver. He may be also having diabetes. Then to differentiate whether it is because of alcohol or whether it is because of diabetes related fatty liver, sometimes we may resort to liver biopsy. It is also a safe procedure. Nowadays we do with ultrasound. That's why it is a safe procedure. And then the imaging. Imaging means usually most common test we do is an ultrasound simple scan. Some people may need a CT scan or an MRI scan. This is how we diagnose. And then finally, tips to prevent the liver disease. How exactly we should prevent liver disease, especially somebody in the audience is very fatty or obese. How means they should be aware that they may have, just like their obesity, they may have fat in their liver. How to prevent that fat in the liver? Most important thing is this saturated fats and trans fats. That means what you are seeing is burger, and then this is French fry. All of these things which are our favorites, I think that we should reduce. Means we cannot, I don't say that you don't take it all, but make it as a one cheat day. Maybe in a month you take one day, and 29 days you should be good in your diet. Second thing is a balanced diet. Means the person who will be happy, healthy, and successful in his life is somebody's. If you look at his plate, then you will understand. If his plate is not with 50% vegetables, जैसा अभी जो आपका plate जो दिख रहा है, you are seeing an apple, lot of green vegetables and a fruit juice. तो ऐसा plate आपका रहा हर दिन, so then usually you will not have a problem. But if your plate is full like this, a burger, a pizza, or a French fry, or a cheese, most of the time, and very little of green vegetables or fruits, definitely you make my word, you may be very good now, but 15-20 years down the line, you will either develop obesity, diabetes, liver problem, or heart related issues. That is for sure. That's why the Indian diet is the most favored diet. If you are a North Indian, roti with lot of vegetables or paratha with lot of vegetables, but try to avoid this Western diet, the European diet or an American diet, where the disease of them are coming to us, and now we have become a diabetic capital of the world. That's why that is very important. And even this bread, oats, and all these things, I think it's not for humans. This is the diet what we should be using. All of these things are not on a daily basis, maybe once a week or something like that. And the fourth important thing is maintaining a weight, proper weight. Means anybody whose weight is 10 to 15 kg above, then you have to remember that your lifespan has been reduced by at least 2 to 3 years. That is very important, because the moment you gain weight, then the next thing is you develop fat. The third thing is you will have a problem in your liver, and then we develop diabetes. Let's say once you develop diabetes, our 5 or 10 years of our life is gone. That's why that is very important to lose the weight. And the most important thing is, I think everybody knows, on the cigarette itself it is written, cigarette causes cancer, but unfortunately that's our habit, we continue to smoke. That is one thing we should stop. Anybody takes tobacco in any form, whether it is gutka or whether it is cigarette or whether it is a whatever the way you take, then it will definitely cause cancers. That's why it is very important to stop that. And then the most important thing is do some sort of exercise. If somebody is not able to walk, means not able to run, he should walk. If somebody is not able to walk, at least he should do some exercises like hand aerobic exercise or some leg exercises, so that they burn the calories. I think this is the most important thing. Those who are very fit, they should run. Those who are medium fit, they should jog. Those who are average fit, they should walk. Those who are unfit, at least they should do a exercise on their muscles. I think this is what we should do. And then I don't put the word limit. I tell the word avoid alcohol, because If you don't avoid the alcohol from limit, it will become limitless. That's the thing, because it's one of the food substance, or one of the substance what I say, nobody, once they get tasted, it will never allow you to stop, and it will never allow you to reduce. Very few people, means if I see 10 people, maybe 1% or 2% may have a control, but 8 people will never have a control, and then it goes on and on. And then take the one more thing is, the problem in India is we use so many medicines. I have, even though I'm an allopathic, I'm a liver specialist, I have no objections on other systems of medicine, because Ayurveda, homeopathy, they're all good. But only thing is, you diagnose your disease and take the medicine. That's the only thing. Because people now, they consume heavy metals and then take some powders and all, then their liver gets damaged. Because all systems of medicine, they have got importance. We should not condemn any of the systems. All systems are good. But the only thing is, you diagnose your disease and take the medicines. Please don't take koi baba ke paas jaake humne ye le liya, wo le liya. That is wrong. You go to an Ayurvedic practitioner, an allopathic practitioner, and a homeopathic practitioner, diagnose your disease. फर्स्ट डायग्नोसिस होना चाहिए, उसके बाद आपको मेडिसिन लेना चाहिए. किसी ने बोला ये पाउडर ले लो, ये बाबा ने दे दिया, that I think is worst thing to have. One of the common reason for the liver the problem is this. And third thing is over the counter medicines. जाएंगे, सिर दर्द है, एंटीबायोटिक लेना, पेन किलर्स लेना. To name, see, means in Bangalore, at least one liver transplant is being done only because people go and take medicines in the over the counter. Just now I am treating at least 2 ladies for no fault of their own. For knee joint, they were using some medicines, and then they developed liver failure, and both of them are waiting for liver transplant. That's why आपको medicines खाना है, तो specifically आपको diagnosis होना चाहिए, and then the proper doctor should see you, and then he should prescribe and take the medicines, whether it's Ayurveda, homeopathy, or allopathy. And please always check whether these medicines are going. Any medicine will cause the side effect. Don't think that only allopathy medicines have problem. Ayurveda, allopathy, homeopathy, everybody has problem. That's why you should always check the medicines, and then whether it suits you, because if milk can cause side effect, anything can cause side effect. If you drink too much of milk, you will have diarrhea next day. That's the side effect of milk. That's why all medicines are bound to have problems. That's why you should always use it only if needed and only if the doctor prescribes. And then I think the final slide is alcoholic liver disease is not transmittable, means it doesn't spread from one to one, but it will definitely spread if all of you are drinking. If there is a group of people who are drinking, that's a transmissible disease, because one person makes another person to drink, he will have, from one person may have fatty liver, another person may develop liver cirrhosis. That's why it is transmissible within the group of the alcohol, not across the group of the alcohol. And then it can be very small, beautiful liver from here can become like this, and then it will finally turn into this shade, and it is the alcohol, what the bottle what we are seeing, that's the final thing what you do. That's why prevention is always better than cure. Stop drinking. That's the thing. Not too much. I don't use this word, stop drinking. That's the most important thing. And then the other important thing is, don't put on weight. That's a curse on human beings, because the moment you start putting on weight, you start developing diabetes, heart disease, stroke, and all these things. That's the most important thing you should always aware. And don't wait for your eyes to become yellow and skins to become yellow. And then the other sign is you may develop pain and swelling of the legs. And this is how the symptoms are there. And thank you very much. I think the 15 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever we have spent, I think my only message is everybody likes to enjoy. Everybody have freedom, but God has given a consciousness for everybody, that we should utilize our consciousness in good sense. The consciousness is to maintain a good health, so that you have a good life, so that you don't come with suffering to us, because most of the problems are usually only because of 3 reasons. One is our diet, second thing is our habits, third thing is our thinking. That's why these 3 things, if we modify, most of us will not develop any problem. A simple way to keep a good health is get up in the morning, drink at least 1 liter of warm water, and breakfast should happen always between 8 and 8:30. Don't eat your breakfast at lunchtime. 8 to 8:30 you finish your breakfast, and then after that give at least 6 to 7 hours of gap, means around 2:30 you should have your lunch, and in between you should take half of cup of water. That's very, very important because you have to hydrate yourself. That is number 3. So at least 7 hours you give a gap. And as our Indian culture says, you finish your dinner before sunset, finish the dinner by at least 6:45, 7 o'clock, and the dinner should be very small. Means if you are from north, take 2 rotis and vegetables. One day you can have only fruits, one day you can have only vegetables and little rice, but it should not be too much. Always the right quantity of food is, you should leave the table before you are full. That's the right quantity of food. And the right timing, I've already told you, 8:30 you should have your breakfast. Lunch between, you give a gap of 7 hours, 2 to 2:30 you should have lunch, and dinner before the sunset at least by 6:45, 7 o'clock. After that, if you are hungry, take water, tender coconut, buttermilk, or nimbu sharbat, and then avoid sugars. Use lot of jaggery. I think that is one thing I should always keep in mind. And finally, everybody should do one exercise at least for 30 minutes. If you do this, you will never be going to become bad. Your health will always be good, and you don't develop any liver disease, diabetes, blood pressure, heart problem, kidney problem, or stroke, or anything of this sort in your life. I think this is the only thing, only my message is, get up at 8, 7 o'clock, 1 liter warm water, do 30 minutes exercise, 8 to 8:30 finish your breakfast, lunch at 2 to 2:30 give a gap of 7 hours. In between, every half an hour take small half cup of water, and then before sunset you finish your dinner. I think if you do this, 90% of the time you will be free from the diseases, and then you will have a good, healthy, happy life. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you, doctor, for the great talk. Now I would like to just take some time, and we have some questions from some of our friends and colleagues, and I'll just take it one by one, and it will be very kind if you can just answer the thing.
You have it on your chat box, Sri?
So I have it with me. I can just read it out to you. It will be easier.
Yeah, just do that.
Yes. So the first question is, if diagnosed with fatty liver disease, does that mean my liver is failing?
No. I think this is one thing very important, because don't get afraid that if you have an ultrasound report, your liver is gone. But that's a sign that you have accumulated a lot of fat in the liver. If somebody is heavy weight or obese, that doesn't mean that his liver is already gone. The important thing is you should check your liver function test. If your liver function test is showing abnormality, then we do what is known as a fibroscan. That will show whether there is any liver damage. If there is a liver damage and your liver functions are abnormal, then you should meet a good hepatologist or a gastroenterologist, and then they will put you on diet, exercise, and then third thing is we may put you on some medications as well. But the most important message I tell to the people who have fatty liver is, reduce your weight by 4 to 5 kilos, or if somebody is very obese, at least 5 to 8 kilos, your fat will disappear. How to do that? I've already told you: diet, exercise. Two big diet and one small diet in the evening, and 30 minutes of exercise. If you do that, in 5 to 6 months, your fat will disappear.
Yes, thank you, doctor. So I would like to now invite Ms. Jaya Singh to moderate the Q&A session. So she has some questions she wanted to ask. So she will take it over from now. Yes, Ms. Jaya.
Yeah, tell me, Jaya.
Thanks, Sri.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for sharing your thoughts and enlightening us today. It was a very informative session indeed. I would now open the forum for the question and answer session, and I would be asking question on behalf of Vision Spring staff.
Yeah.
So the first question is, how important is drinking water to the liver?
It's very, very important. It's not just for liver, it is for the whole organs. That's why I told you how exactly we should take liver. The water is also, there is a method. The moment you get up in the morning, you take at least 4 glasses of water. That means it is a liter of water. And that is very, very important, because the moment you take that much amount of water, you will flush the bowel, your motions will be normal, and then you also get hydrated in the morning itself. That's why 1 liter of warm water. except people who have diabetes, kidney disease, and liver disease. Other than that, everybody should take at least 4 glasses of water in the morning. And then once you have a breakfast, means maybe at around 8:30 is the time you should always have a breakfast. After that, between 8 to 2:30, every half an hour, you should take water. And then one more important thing is during breakfast and lunch, better to avoid water. At least you take half an hour before or 1.5 hours later, so that your digestive juices are not diluted because of the water. This is an important thing. And third thing is every half an hour. And one more thing is people have an habit, they drink 1 liter of water together. That's also wrong. Every half an hour, you start taking half glasses of water. That's the right way to take. In whole day, at least 2 to 3 liters of water we should consume. This is how the water has to be consumed, the right way to take water.
Thank you. So the next question is, why do some people get fatty liver disease from drinking alcohol and some do not?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. As I told you, everybody's organs God has made with some problems. That's why the problem is somebody may have very little enzymes. Enzymes means whenever we drink any alcohol or whether we eat anything, the food gets digested by the intestine and the liver. That if somebody has got a weak liver, they will have a problem. How it happens means if they take alcohol, then one of the properties of alcohol is to absorb fat into the system. That's why it will absorb the fat. But somebody whose liver is very good, then they may remove that. But eventually, when they cross the limit, because everybody has got a limit, after a limit, they will also develop the problem. That's why very important that don't be very happy that I take too much of alcohol, but my liver has no fat. Eventually, it will develop. That's why that is very, very important that you should never take alcohol.
Okay. Next question is, can fatty liver disease be reversed or cured with a specific diet?
100% it can be done. The issue is what stage you have come. If the fatty liver, we have grades 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we have a liver fibrosis grade also, because after fat we develop liver fibrosis. That's also graded like 1, 2, 3, 4. Means if the grade is 1 and 2, means that's an early grade. Then the diet, if you do, means I've already told you the diet means 2 good breakfast, 1 good breakfast and 1 lunch and a very poor dinner. If you do that, then automatically you start losing weight. Just to give an example, get up 1 liter warm water, morning you have very good breakfast. You can have 2 paratha, 4 roti or whatever it is, but your plate should be 50% vegetables. That's the breakfast what you should have, and a lunch around after 7 hours, maybe 2 roti and then with lot of greens. And one day you can have only rice with lot of greens. And this is the way we should eat. 50% of your plate should be greens. That should be fresh green, not the boiled ones. Then that's the most important thing. And the third one should be a poor, like a beggar. Means they should have only vegetables or fruits, or they can have only 1 roti with 50% vegetables. Then automatically your third meal is already less. That means your calories are already broken. That's the way we should eat. That's the diet, what we should eat. And then every half an hour, I have told you, take small cups of water. And then 30 minutes of exercise. Means they should sweat. People just walk and then they have told they have been walking. And then that's not the way to exercise. At least 30 minutes of exercise where you sweat. I think this is the way we should do the diet and exercise. If you do that, definitely, if you are very sincere, within 6 to 8 weeks, you will lose at least 3 to 4 kilos of weight. The moment you lose weight, then what body will do is it will have to extract the fat. Where it will extract the fat from your liver. That's how the liver fat starts disappearing. That's the only treatment which will help. Other medical treatments are almost lifelong. You have to take vitamin E and newer medicines have come, but medical treatments for fatty liver have not been very successful. That's why first stage and second stage of liver, we can definitely reverse. Third and fourth stage are difficult to reverse because they have already got liver fibrosis and liver cirrhosis. They may be difficult. They can be maintained. First and second stage, definitely yes.
Next question is, should we look out for a specific liver disease which is on the rise?
Most common, as you have put the question, the most important thing is fatty liver. The most common reason for death now is in liver disease is because of fatty liver. Because unfortunately we are following the Western people, And then Western people, even though they eat like that, they exercise very judicious. But we eat and then we only take the burgers and pizzas. But unfortunately, we don't see how much exercise they do. And we have taken only the negative part of that. And then that's why India is become the capital of diabetes. That's why our all our people, all our children who are very thin now, they have become like, they have really become very hefty. That's the reason we are seeing this epidemic of obesity in India. And that has created an epidemic of diabetes in India, epidemic of fatty liver in India. I think the most important thing which is rising is fatty liver disease. Because of fatty liver, people develop, even though they don't drink, they are developing liver cancer and liver cirrhosis when they are 50s.
Next question is, what are cytokines and how do they affect the liver?
See, this is an important question. I think somebody, a science background, has asked this question. Cytokines are some chemicals which are released from the system, from the blood vessels, WBCs. These are the, there are different types of cytokines, which are protective cytokines and then destructive cytokines. Means protective cytokines means they protect the system, the liver or the organs. The destructive cytokines are the one which damages the system. Because God has created both the things within us, positive as well as negative. Positive cytokines, they work for our health. The negative cytokines, they destroy the things. That's why the toxins, the drugs, the alcohol, they stimulate these negative cytokines. Then they cause damage to us. This is what the cytokine does.
Sir, does excess salt consumption impact our liver?
Excess salt consumption per se affects every organ, because we should have a limit of taking the salt. Salt, without salt, nobody can eat, but excessive salt definitely yes. Because just like if you put a piece of salt and a filter paper, the lot of water will go towards the salt. Similarly, what happens when there is a salt, too much of salt, it will absorb more water into the system. That's why what happens, you will start developing swelling. Swelling means you start developing leg swelling. And then what happens, the circulation gets filled up with water. Then that will affect your heart. That will affect your blood pressures. Once heart and blood pressure gets affected, it will affect our liver. And that's very important for somebody who has got a healthy liver. But somebody who has already got a bad liver, if they take more salt, definitely after more than 4 grams if they take, then they will start developing swelling everywhere. They will become like a pumpkin. Whole legs, they get swollen, abdomen gets water. That's the problem that they will develop. That's why for everybody, for that matter, it should be 4 to 6 grams of salt. And that too, now there is a fashion of using this Himalayan salt. I think that's the best salt to use.
What is the difference between symptoms of fatty liver and non-fatty liver disease?
Yeah, symptoms of fatty liver disease means somebody has got more fat in the liver. What happens? The liver gets swollen. You may develop a dull pain on your right side of your abdomen. That's the first symptom. If the liver, once the fat becomes too much, then the liver starts, the cells start dying. Then you start developing weakness, tiredness, body aches. And then slowly you develop your appetite starts going down. That's the symptom of fatty liver disease. Non-fatty liver disease, because it's just a matter, it's just a name which differentiates non-fatty liver from fatty liver. Because even if you have alcohol, the first thing what happens is fatty liver only. Even if it is virus, the first thing what happens is fatty liver only. Even if it is hepatitis C, the first thing what happens is fatty liver. Means initially body tries to regenerate by putting more fat. That's why all the symptoms are very much similar. But unfortunately, the fatty liver disease may go unnoticed, because some people may have very mild symptom like gas, acidity, bloating side of a symptom, and they may not recognize at all. Whereas other types of liver disease, they will have symptoms like nausea, vomiting, weakness, tiredness, body ache, jaundice. That's why it is slightly, they may recognize little better.
So there is a concern. Okay, so question is, my mother recently got diagnosed with fatty liver disease and she's diabetic also. So please suggest a suitable diet for her.
No, as I told you, the diet has to be two good meal, that is a good breakfast, a good lunch, and a small dinner. But the problem with diabetics is they'll be taking insulin or diabetic drugs. That's why the dinner, if they have to reduce the insulin as well as the sugar medicine in the evening. This is the important thing what they should do. Means everybody for this diet applies for everybody, but only for diabetics they have to be careful, because if they eat less in the night and then they eat early, they may develop low sugars. That's why first, before they start this diet, the lower the last part of your diet, that is the dinner dose of your sugar, insulin or tablets, has to be reduced by at least 25 to 50%. You should meet your endocrinologist and tell, my dinner is small, my breakfast is more, my lunch is more. You reduce the medications in the dinner time. Once they do that, then automatically the diabetes also will come into control. The medications also will get reduced, and then the fat also starts reducing. This is one way, by the diet. Second thing is, she should devise an exercise at least half an hour every day. They should work out, they should sweat. This is number 2. Number 3, there are some medicines with the diabetes medicines itself which will reduce the fat, like metformin or saroglitazole. These are the medicines they should add in their medical in the diabetes list, so that these diabetes medicines per se will also help in reducing the fat in the liver. Means, to summarize, diet, exercise, and then the modifications of the drugs.
So next question is, in LFT, if SGOT level is high, is it a sign of liver damage?
If both SGOT and SGPT are high, definitely it's a sign of liver damage. If only SGOT is high, if somebody is taking alcohol, then that is the reason for elevated SGOT. And if somebody has got muscle injury, lot of exercise they have done, and only SGOT has increased, then it may be because of muscle injury. But both SGOT and SGPT increase, definitely liver problem. Only SGOT, it has to be alcohol and some blood problem or a muscle problem.
Okay, so what tests are required and at what intervals to diagnose any liver disease at initial stage?
Somebody has got no problem in their liver at all, maybe once a year they should check their liver function test and ultrasound once they are more than 35 to 40. If somebody is diabetic, obese, then probably they should be a little more aggressive. Then they should check their LFTs and ultrasounds every 6 months. And somebody who is taking alcohol, that's very, very important. Alcohol, diabetes, obesity. Means every 3 to 6 months they should check their liver function test. Then at least an yearly once, 6 months to 1 year, they should do an ultrasound. And the new thing is, there is a new entity which has come known as FibroScan and an MR elastography. That's a new thing wherein you can detect the liver damage with an MRI scan, and then how much liver is damaged we can know. But there are very few centers in Karnataka. We have one very good center in Bangalore, but I think in Delhi you have ILBS. They are pioneers in this, and that's one good center where you can look for all these things. They have got MR elastography and FibroScan, and wherein they can take their experts' advice from there.
There is an overwhelming response to the session, but we do have time to take one last question. And the last question is, as most of us are in sedentary lifestyle, how much does it impact our liver and what precautions should we take?
See, everybody is sedentary except a farmer or a person who is a player. All other professions, I say it is sedentary. Some are super sedentary, some are moderate sedentary. That's the only difference. I think the best way to prevent not just liver disease, to prevent your developing diabetes, blood pressure, heart disease, kidney disease, or a stroke is 3 things. I told you, one is the diet, second is the exercise, and third is to keep the mind cool. How to do that? I've already, third time I'm repeating. The diet is get up, 1 liter warm water you take, 8:30 early breakfast, and then lunch by 2 to 2:30, give a gap of 6 to 7 hours so that the stomach gets proper time to digest your food, and in between take half a cup of water, and then dinner you finish by 6:45, 7. Please don't take at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Only our scriptures, they used to say, only demons used to eat in the night. Humans used to eat before 7 o'clock. You should always remember this. Eat before the sunset, and then after that, if you are hungry, then take only water, and this is the diet what we should follow. And the dinner should be very, very less and more of vegetables and fruits. That's the thing. And if you are a non-vegetarian, take fish and egg. Avoid mutton completely, because they will definitely form cancers. And chicken also, the deshi chicken, not the bred chickens where they will put a lot of hormones. I think that's one important thing for non-vegetarians. This is the diet. And second thing is, even though you are sedentary, please make a habit that at least 30 minutes you should take some form of exercise. That's the second thing you should do. And third thing is, everybody, whether they are believers or non-believers, at least 15 to 20 minutes they should meditate. That is the most important thing they should do, because until and unless you calm your mind, your thoughts, the diseases are going to come back. The negative thoughts, the negative food, and then the lack of exercise. These are the three problems which are the reasons for so many diseases what we have, and medicines are never a cure. It is only a solace. That's why we should always do these three things to have a good, happy, and healthy life.
Thank you, Doctor, for answering all the questions. Thank you, everyone, for all your questions. Over to you, Shrey.
We are grateful to Dr. Ravindra V.S. for delivering such an informative and pragmatic talk. Special thanks to Ms. Jaya Singh, Mr. Srinivas, and the staff of Vision Spring, Noida for making this event successful. With the best wishes, now we from Plasmagen team signing off here. Have a nice day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.